Good morning, everyone. I look forward to telling you more about BresoTEC Medical. We are revolutionizing sleep apnea diagnostics. Before getting into more information on our technology and our product, I'd like to give you a little bit of background to the sleep apnea market and also where we are on this journey. So sleep apnea is a cessation of breathing during sleep. It is a large disease affecting 54 million people in the US market. And the reason it is important is that it increases the risk of death from stroke and heart disease fourfold. This is a large market. It's $1.4 billion addressable diagnostic market, and it's growing at about 9% per annum. The standard of care in this market is a PSG, which is accurate, and it's an in-lab test where the patient has to sleep overnight. And the capacity constraints on the in-lab, together with patients' preference for being tested at home, leads to approximately 80% of patients currently going undiagnosed. Also, the at-home portion of this market is growing very quickly and really accelerated through COVID. Prior to COVID, approximately 30% of patients were tested at home, and this has increased currently to about 70% of the market. So our product, the BresoDX1, we received FDA clearance in December of last year, and we offer a superior at-home diagnostic option as the only at-home test which is based on respiratory airflow. We've got a strong IP position with multiple follow-on products, and the company was founded by one of the foremost leaders in this era of sleep apnea, Dr. Doug Bradley, and I've led companies in the past and had exits. To date, we have raised $14.7 million. A big chunk of this is from a strategic investor, and I'm seeking to raise an additional $5.5 million to fund commercialization of the product. So now more about what we do. So we have a novel approach to home diagnosis, and we provide in-lab quality with the convenience of an at-home test. And what is unique about what we're doing in this market is that we're the only FDA-cleared diagnostic with at-home validated respiratory airflow, and this is the key data that is used by sleep physicians to diagnose sleep apnea. Our value proposition includes the fact that we have an accurate estimate of respiratory airflow, and the way we do this is from an accelerometer and microphone, which measures motion and breath sounds to detect the changes in respiratory airflow. We have the industry-leading accuracy with a 2.5 measured error rate of assessing in changes in airflow versus the PSG, which is the current gold standard. And we provide a seamless experience for the physicians. The data is presented in a very familiar format, and it fits easily into the workflow and is similar to the PSG gold standard, which they're used to. Also, there's no help that the clinicians need to provide to set up the devices. It's easily set up in the unattended setting by the patient at home. So this is what our product looks like. It includes a small Breso sensor, which fixes above the windpipe on the sternal notch, and it includes a unidirectional, very sensitive microphone and a 3D accelerometer, which record body position and movement. And also includes an oximeter, which fits on the finger and records blood oxygen saturation and heart rate. And both of these devices send data wirelessly to a hub, which stores the data and then uploads into the cloud, after which is processed through our AI software and produces an automatic report for the clinician. So we provide an accurate and transparent diagnostic information for the clinicians. We fit into the workflow, and our report includes the data that's key for the doctors to diagnose sleep apnea. So looking at the competitors, our competitors fit into two groups. First of all, the older products, which are traditional, which I'm calling the traditional at-home tests. These products have fairly good accuracy, but they have very often failures occur. They have no published research validating their airflow in a home sleep setting. They have nasal cannulas which do not record breathing during when a patient is breathing through their mouth, which is fairly common in sleep apnea. And there's often signal loss due to the cannulas becoming dislodged. They also have wires and cables, which make it difficult for the patient to set up at home, and in many cases they're actually going to the clinic before going home to sleep, and the clinicians are setting it up for them, and it's a very uncomfortable night's sleep. The second group of competitors are newer products, and the leader in this space is Edema Medical, and they have very convenient and easy-to-use products, but they have no measurement or reported on airflow, and they use indirect surrogate signals, and they provide black box diagnosis where they do not provide full transparency of the data to the clinicians, and we provide that full transparency. So a fundamental advantage of our product is that we've addressed the deficiencies of the at-home tests by making changes in airflow central to the way we diagnose. Also, through our artificial intelligence, we've developed composite signals from tracheal motion and breath sound that is increasing the accuracy of measuring airflow. And we continue to improve our model, even subsequent to our clinical trials. We've had initial unpublished results, which are increasing as we add patient data to our model. In addition, in the future, we're going to be adding additional signals, and we believe this will put us in a position where we have the industry-leading correlation to the gold standard. So where are we? We're going to launch in Q3 of this year with a controlled launch. This will give us the opportunity to gain additional KOL support. We already do have support, but this will improve it. In addition, integrate into the healthcare systems and get additional feedback on our product before we invest in a full launch. We'll be targeting the sleep physicians. This is 74% of the overall market. We'll do this with a small direct sales team. In total, we're not going to need more than 20 to 25 reps to cover the whole of the US. We'll then address the rest of the market, which are dentists, personal care physicians, and other specialists, with partnerships and key account managers before moving on to other international markets. Important factor here is that there is current reimbursement codes. There are 2 codes that cover home sleep tests in the US market, and we will fit into the criteria for these codes. So on the funding side, we've raised $14.7 million to date. A big chunk of this has come from a strategic investor which understands the market we're in and is in a peripheral market. And I'm looking to raise an additional $5.5 million to fund the commercialization, in addition the continued development of the product. So the team, we have an experienced team. I've led other pharmaceuticals, biopharma and medtech companies in the past. Dr. Doug Bradley, who is Chief Medical Officer and co-founder of the company, is a world leader in the area. He has over 275 published papers, and I haven't spoken to a sleep doctor that doesn't know who he is yet across the US. We also have a strong group of advisors, and I'd just like to point out Dr. Richard Bogan, who started the largest sleep group called SleepMed in the US, and we're working very closely with these advisors as well as other clinics in the US to prepare for our market launch. I'd also like to mention we've continued to build the team. We've added an executive, Alan Ehrlich, who comes from one of our largest competitors and has many industry connections. So to summarize, we're targeting a large market. There's a significant market gap, and this has been validated by speaking to the largest players in the market that have products. They agree that that clinicians are looking for a product that diagnoses based on airflow. We have a management team that's led companies in the past. We have good technology with IP protection, and we have multiple growth drivers to the future revenues in this market and the size of the market. I'd also like to point out that there's been a good amount of consolidation in this market in the last year and a half, with two of our competitors getting acquired by the larger companies, and they're looking for simple, easy to use, and accurate solutions, and we've begun discussions with those companies already. Thank you.